I know me and you were talking, Russell, and we were talking about a subject that uh, we've talked about in the past, and it's pretty interesting. It has to deal with the Nefesh. And one of the things you were talking about with the Nefesh is how your Nefesh reacts to certain things and how you train your Nefesh to react. And it's about input. And one of the things you brought up is music and how how that affects the Nefesh in ways we don't understand. And you were going to kind of give us a rundown. And one of the examples you wanted to talk about was this music video, and it's people's reaction to this song, and we're looking for a particular thing in this reaction. And you were going to explain a little bit more, but you wanted to get my opinion about the reactions of this video. So uh, we're going to watch the video and discuss it. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah. You've been studying the Nefesh, and we've been discussing a lot of it. How to, our little topic of how to train the Nefesh, and the Nefesh being the base level of the soul, and how that affects the body and how the body reacts to it physically, because this is the Nefesh level of the soul, is where spirituality touches physicality and interacts with physicality. And you can see that reaction within, within the context of physicality and how people react to certain things and what's happening. And I just wanted you to watch this video, and we understand, about this song and how it's stirring a lot of people, but we're looking at the podcasters that are viewing this song for the first time and their reactions to it, and what you can pick up and tell me about the Nefesh and what's going on with it. And then we can go on and discuss this topic about music that I've been thinking about for a long time in association with this base level of the soul called the Nefesh.
All right, let's dive right into it.
I've been selling my soul, working all day, overtime hours for bullshit pay, so I can sit out here and waste my life away, drag back home and drown my troubles away. It's a damn shame what the world's gotten to for people like me, people like you. Wish I could just wake up and it not be true, but it is. Oh, it is living in the new world with an whole soul.
I can rock with that.
Richmond, north of Richmond, Lord knows they all just wanna have total control. Wanna know what you think, wanna know what you do, and they don't think you know, but I know that you do. 'Cause your dollar ain't shit. And it's taxed to no end.
Okay.
It's a rich man. It's a rich man.
Oh, this is true. Hello, buddy.
Some of us can't say what we absolutely know is true, and he's articulating.
I wish politicians look out for minors, and not just minors on an island somewhere. Lord, we got folks in the street, ain't got nothing to eat, and the obese milking welfare. God, if you're 5'3" and you're 300 pounds, taxes ought not to pay for your bags of fudge rounds. Young men are putting themselves 6 feet in the ground, 'cause all this damn country does is keep on kicking them down. Lord, it's a damn shame what the world's gotten to for people like me,
What?
people like you.
Yeah.
Wish I could just wake up and it not be true, but it is. Oh, it is living in the new world with an whole soul. These rich men north of Richmond, Lord knows they all just wanna have total control. Wanna know what you think, wanna know what you do, and they don't think you know, but I know that you do. 'Cause your dollar ain't shit. It ain't. It's taxed to no end. 'Cause the rich men, north of rich men. I've been selling my soul, working all day, overtime hours for bullshit pay.
Damn.
So if you go back to the one where the guy is moving his arm, he almost wants to break out dancing, and he raises his arms up and he starts to do, and then the guy right after him did the same thing, was really getting into the sound of the music, but if you watch it, it's so spontaneous. It's not like
It's like a knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah, he
just
he
hits you.
flung his arms up. Yeah, he flung his arms up in the air, and he's just going with it. He's just
feeling the music is what they say.
It's that physical reaction to it that causes that.
So is that your soul reacting? Your soul reacting to something that you feel deep down passionate about, or that your soul relates to? But wouldn't that, the thing when I think about music, is that music is something that no matter whatever state you're in, you can find music to complement that state. So if you're lonely or depressed, there's plenty of depressing music. And what's funny about it is that does it make you more depressed, or does it make you feel like you're not alone? Like if you listen to some songs and you're in a state of depression and anxiety, those songs, even though people say, man, that's a sad song, but the reason people like that, and me too, is that it's relatable. I can relate that somebody else, and then like I feel it deep down inside. And so it's almost like somebody's articulating what I'm feeling, and they're putting a rhythm and a sound to it, an expression to what I feel inside.
Yeah, absolutely. But what, it's where you are at spiritually that is causing that. And I'm not talking about as where you're at spiritually in the higher levels. It's where you're at spiritually in this base level, in this level of the soul that controls the physical body. And so some people want to listen who are depressed, who want to, reject the feelings, listen to upbeat music, rock and roll music or whatever, and they kind of forget, where they're at. Other people's embrace it, like, this is where blues,
blues
came out, because they embrace that feeling,
genre of music there is.
Mm-hmm, and they embraced it and engaged in it and created this sound and this music that brought that out. And I think it has a healing and a ministering type of vibe to it, because you can connect to it, because you relate to, the troubles and the sorrows. And that's what they're doing here with the way this guy is singing this music in a way that is creating that, and they're connecting to it, and you can see the emotion out of it. But that emotion is being based upon, this physical reaction.
Yeah.
Into the spiritual that's connecting with it. And this is one of the ideas of the basis of dance. And how we can go back as primitive as you'd like to go with this, as far as people dancing around a fire, 10,000 years ago, after they just killed a mammoth, and they're excited, and they're celebrating, they're feasting on it, and they're celebrating, and maybe somebody's beating out a rhythm on a log, and the natural course of the body was just to start this movement and to start engaging with it on physicality. This is a very fundamental, spiritually fundamental concept of what we're doing here and what we're doing in physicality. At its very base level, it's that we're connecting spiritually into a physical world.
Music connects to everybody, and it transcends everything in the world. Music transcends religion. It transcends political leanings, age, status. It does it all. So what you're saying, I completely understand that it's about the soul and what it does to the soul.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Everyone shares that common makeup of the soul, and we know the different parts of the soul and their function and how they operate, and the root of that soul. It all comes from the same root. So there is a connection within all people, and music can do that, because music can touch and affect that soul, and it doesn't matter where you're at or what you're doing. You're talking about outlaw country music. Well, what about the outlaw bagpipes that were in Scotland and that were outlawed by the English because of the inspiration that it gave to the Scottish people in the Scottish rebellion against England, because it did something to that soul. It could unite those people. It could inspire them. It could get, and this is the basis of what we're talking about when we talk about the Nefesh, it gets the juices flowing within your body and gets all of these things happening, and you get engaged spiritually into physicality. And that is what we're doing here. We are here as spiritual beings having a physical experience, but it comes from a spiritual root, from the base level of the soul, known as the Nefesh, which is associated with the blood. And so this goes back to the whole idea of what we've been talking about for a long time now, about training the Nefesh.
Right.
And so, and the idea that the Nefesh doesn't know anything, doesn't have an opinion about anything. It only reacts what's supposed to be normal. What am I supposed to do here? Is what it's saying. It's what it's asking itself. What am I supposed to be doing here? One of the ideas and the lessons about this is to understand how the Nefesh works and how it's trainable. Like I said, it doesn't have a dog in the fight. It doesn't pick a way to be. It only reacts to what we've given it. And have we succumbed to our evil inclination and give it negativity and violence and hate and blood and gore and all of this stuff, and then that becomes the thing that you like? Or are you subject to your good inclination, to where it's more peace and love and tranquility and getting along with people and experiencing like this, and so your Nefesh has those reactions, and your body responds to that kind of input.
Wouldn't you say, though, as much as the music has a reaction to the Nefesh, environment does too. It plays a complementary role into the music you're hearing, meaning if you're driving down the road and you get a phone call, somebody close to you passed away, and a song's playing on the radio, and whenever you hear that song from then on, you get sad because you think of that situation. Hey, I was driving home, I got a call that so-and-so passed away, and every time I hear that song, it makes me sad, even though other people say, well, that's not a sad song. Well, yeah, it's not a sad song to you because, for whatever reason, but that song was playing when I heard about so-and-so passing away. Or, if you, when you're young, or if you're having a good time with your friends, and a song comes on, and maybe you're having a couple drinks, and you're thinking, man, that's the last time I saw, so and so, and every time I think about that song, I get happy, and I think about them, because that song was playing that day, the last time I saw them, or something, good or bad happens to you while music is playing. It's the environment that has just as much as a reaction to the nefesh as it does the music. Correct?
Yeah, that's because, well, what are we doing here? I mean, we are spiritually. I mean, we are physically acting out a spirituality. That's why we have a physical vessel. That's why our soul is in a body. That's why there's a life force in the world. There's a living beings that are animated, and this is what we're doing. You can take those same type of scenarios you're talking about in with take an instance where a man is having an adulterous affair with a particular woman, and they have this song, and he's kind of caught up in it, and so later on in years he learns to regret his actions. Maybe it caused a divorce, maybe it split up his family, maybe it did all of these different things. And now when he hears this particular song, it could be a happy song, but it brings back that point in his life to where his nefesh was only seeking out physical pleasure at whatever cost.
But when you say that his nefesh grew, it became closer to the side of holiness and Torah by feeling guilt from hearing that song, instead of hearing that song and thinking about good times, and now it hears that song and immediately its reaction is guilt. So that would say that the nefesh has grown, has leaned to the side. The consciousness has shifted towards the side of holy instead of unholy.
Well, it could be, or it was trained to go that. Maturity, responsibility,
Experience,
honor, dignity, and so then you through that process of becoming that person that is more honorable, more trustworthy, more dignified, through even the process of age, can look back in something in his youth and say, that song could actually disgust him.
Right,
because it took him back to a point in his life to where, man, he just wasn't doing right, or to a point to his life to where the negative forces had influence over him, and he realized that as he gotten older, he refined his ways and become more of a responsible, dignified type of person who didn't succumb to every physical whim just for pleasure, just for the sake of simple pleasure. And so, music and these things can have that effect on you because of the way it lured you in to this situation, because it does inspire the nefesh. And there's so many songs, if we're talking about this subject, there's so many songs that lead in, have a sexual connotation about it, and that draw you into sexual
stimulation
and different things like that. And so we can see that being a big factor in the physical world.
I would say that Barry White is probably responsible for at least half the population growth in America.
I'm not, and the interesting thing is, I'm not a music person. I don't know music at all. I haven't. And it's funny music. Till I heard this song right here. I was thinking about it, and I naturally heard this song, and I naturally liked it. I liked this song, but I was thinking,
I haven't heard nobody that dislikes it.
Yeah, I haven't liked a song in 30 years. I haven't cared enough about a song to like it.
Oh,
I couldn't tell you anything about popular music, or or modern music, or anything. I mean,
I like
I
it all.
like music. I
Rock,
like all types of music.
country,
I just
hip
don't.
hop, classical. It doesn't really matter, from the guitar sounds to the drummer playing to the vocals. Music has always been a friend of mine. You know what I mean? Like I can change my state or fall deeper into a state of emotions by listening to music. And there's when people ask me, well, what kind of music you listen to? Well, if you were to look at my Spotify, which is my music player on my phone, and you were to hit because it generates playlists by what you listen to, so it'll create a playlist for you. And if you play my playlist, well, if we were driving from where I'm at to your house, which is enough for about 6 or 7 songs, you would hear anything from classic country to modern country to hip hop to rock and roll. So you can go from Pantera to Tupac to Jason Aldean to Merle Haggard to I like 50s and 60s music, rock and roll. My dad, that's all he listened to. He did the car shows and had the old cars, and that's what kind of music he played. Jerry Lee Lewis to Buddy Holly. There's no telling what's going to come on my playlist. I think all music has something to offer, and I think it's good for your soul. It's like soul medicine, and being for the nefesh, and it is what you input. If you allow music to really bring you down, and so when you like you said, when your nefesh hears this certain song, it automatically turns you in a bad mood because that's what you're thinking when you hear this song, or makes you sad, or makes you react and makes you angry because you're thinking of something bad that happened. This is a very important topic that you're talking about. I hope to, and I never thought about it on a musical level, but music is it has a big impact on the soul, which in turn affects the nefesh. You're absolutely right.
Now that idea, and this is very big, and that's why I've thought about it for years, and I've studied it. And most of my time with music, I would be thinking about this type of thing. Interested in the impact that it had on us. But one of the things is when we look at things that we consider spirituality, like religion, and we look at the Jewish songs, Christian songs, songs that were sung by Native Americans that was spiritual. Every religious context has songs except for one. Can you name the one religious context that we know of today that has no music?
Religious?
Religion.
What religion?
Worship. What group of spiritual people do not sing, do not have music, do not engage? Because even I'm not talking about the Church of Christ. They sing, they just don't have music. I'm talking about people that don't have music or sing. Who would that be?
I don't hear Muslims sing very much.
Muslims, I'm sure. Muslims.
Yeah, they do. They do. They got the call. I don't know. Christians got, music. I guess if you're talking about are you talking about the Jewish community?
Jewish people have.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
Songs.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of what you're.
Yeah, you can't, because you can't think. It's right under your nose, and you can't think of it. You have never heard a Noahide song in your life.
Yeah.
Noahides don't sing. I don't, it's the idea of it. There is something very peculiar about Noahides being around, let's say, since 1990 for 30 years. They've been around and they haven't really developed songs. It's not like you look at the Messianic Christians. Messianic Christians only been around 30 years, and look at all the songs and the music and the industry that's built up around that type of music.
Yeah.
And what do you have? So it's fascinating to me, the spiritual void that we have within Noahidism that has squelched it so much that there's no music, there's no singing, it's not there. And that's one of the things I believe is because of these no-hide type of stringent rabbinical rulings on people that says, well, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't, and limit them so much spiritually that they can't express themselves even from a base Nefesh level, something that's so natural, which would be to sing or to dance. There's never been a Noahide. You've never seen a Noahide dance.
Well, what is a Noahide? I mean, what would you consider somebody making Noahide music? Wouldn't it be Torah music? So it would be Jewish music? I mean, why would our music be different?
Well, the Jewish music sings about the Jewish experience and Jewish life and Jewish things that are connected with them as a Jew. But where is the music as a non-Jew that worships the God of Israel? And from that experience.